Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Claydon. I'm the Capstone Internship Coordinator for the Faculty of Business and IT at UIT. I am actively involved in experiential learning and evaluation for third and fourth year Commerce and IT students. In my presentation, I would like to briefly define what experiential learning theory means. I will then narrow my focus on a 5-stage cyclical model developed by two theorists, David Kolb and Peter Jarvis. I will conclude by discussing each stage of this model as it relates to team-based experiential learning through the programs that I oversee, namely the capstone and internship programs. So, learning through our direct experience is not a new idea by any means. Aristotle once said, "For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them." And Confucius states, "Tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand." And I also want to mention Carl Rogers, who is an influential American psychologist and among the founders of the humanistic approach to psychology. He says, "Experience is, for me, the highest authority. The touchstone of validity is my own experience. No other person's ideas and none of my own ideas are as authoritative as my experience. It is to experience that I must return again and again to discover a closer approximation to truth, as it is in the process of becoming in me." Experiential learning theory provides a model which is consistent with what we know about how people learn. This theory emphasizes the central role that experience plays in learning, in contrast to cognitive theories, which emphasize cognitive processes, and behavioral learning theories, which ignore subjective experience. Experiential learning is the process of making meaning from direct experience, learning through that experience. The experience can be staged or left open. Experiential learning focuses on the learning processes for the individual. It is often used synonymously with the phrase experiential education. It is concerned with issues such as the relationship of the teacher and student, as well as the broader issues of educational structure and objectives. The theory Kolb argues is called experiential learning, to emphasize the central role that experience plays in the learning process, an emphasis that distinguishes experiential learning theory from other theories. The term experiential is used therefore to differentiate cognitive learning theories, which tend to emphasize cognition, over affect and behavioral learning theories that deny any role for subjective experience in the learning process. Experiential learning occurs when a person engages in some activity, looks back at that activity critically, and draws some useful insight from this analysis and puts the result to work. In my role as both the capstone and internship coordinator, I work alongside the associate deans, among other professors. The capstone program is a wonderful opportunity for both our students and the faculty, the chance to partner with a local or international business to solve a problem or assist in their business growth. I am primarily responsible for communicating with businesses, small and large, to develop projects for students. It is my task to match and approve teams with projects, which is based on the student's major and the deliverables outlined in the project. Throughout the capstone program, a series of gate reviews, milestone reports are submitted and evaluated, and course supervisors and faculty advisors also evaluate the student's performance. A final team presentation and final report are major components of this evaluation process, and involve gathering feedback from the project client as well as from the students. According to David Kolb, knowledge is continuously gained through both personal and environmental experiences. He states that in order to gain genuine knowledge from an experience, certain abilities are required. The learner must be willing to be actively involved in the experience. The learner must be able to reflect on that experience. The learner must possess and use analytical skills to conceptualize the experience, and the learner must possess decision-making and problem-solving skills in order to use the new ideas gained from the experience towards their own life or their career. I would now like to describe each of the 5 areas and how this relates to the capstone program. The initial stage is the first experience. We often associate this stage with some event, some game, or some fun experience. This is the experience that must be processed through the stages of experiential learning to maximize the learning applications. Obviously, if the cycle stops after this stage, all learning is left to chance. In the second stage of the cycle, people that have experienced an activity are presumably ready to share what they saw and how they felt during the activity. The intent here is to make the experience of each individual available to the group as a whole. This step involves finding out what happened within individuals' own experiences at both the cognitive, knowledge and perception, and the affective, emotional and feeling levels, while the activity was progressing. In the third stage, group members and individuals need to systematically examine their common shared experience. They need to discuss how the experience for them and for the group was carried out. They need to identify common themes and problems, issues that were brought forward during their own experience. This part of self-reflection is a vital part to the overall dynamics of the learning activity. In the fourth stage, generalizing, this may involve actions over a range of circumstances to gain experience beyond the particular instance and suggest the general principle of the learning outcome. So the key question here is, well, what is the relevance? From the processing stage, they form principles they can apply outside. This step is what makes structured experiences practical. In the final stage of the experiential learning cycle is actually the purpose of the structured experience. The central question here is, well, now what? Individuals are more likely to implement their planned applications if they share them with others. Each group member can report what they intend to do with what they learned. This can encourage others to experiment also with their own behavior. And here are the references that I used for my presentation. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.